What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building. What's happening?
Hey everybody, it's your girl Ray P. Welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we're glad to be here with y'all. Thank you for tuning in as always. School Ray P, a pleasure as always.
Yes, sir.
Good to be here talking to y'all for another episode. Want to shout out everybody out there for listening. Shout out to everybody who provided Boomerang feedback. We got a lot of great feedback about our Boomerang episode. We're not going to sit here and take the credit for it. Obviously, we're as good as the product. So Boomerang itself is an incredible movie.
Yes.
But we are appreciative and humbled that you were were entertained by our conversation and just our real thoughts on a movie that we loved and grew up with. So shout out to y'all for rocking with us every single time.
For sure.
Ray P has We Got Y'all television podcast that I am co-hosting with her. We are currently discussing Winning Time on HBO. Please make sure you tell a friend to watch Winning Time. We need that to keep coming on. The creator of the book that it's based on came out with some tweets and pretty much said it's not guaranteed that we're going to have a season 3. We need these viewers. We need these numbers. We all know what's going on with the strike right now.
Yeah.
So just make sure you're watching that show. And if you do watch, jump on over and listen to us. The link is in the link tree. Made the YouTube debut today. YouTube debut for We Got Y'all. Yeah, neither one of us is happy about it, but we over there, so check us out. You know, if you don't get enough clicks, we taking that shit down. We don't even want to be on there.
Bruh. This is enough digital footprint.
Straight up, man. They know everything about us. Also want to shout out school. Due to some scheduling conflicts, next week is based. This is my fault, y'all. I want to take the credit. I can't record on our normal day, so we have to shift it. And the day that we have to shift it to, Ray P's got some prior engagement. So we figured it'd be a good time to roll out School's new pod. It's still a film podcast. Is going to be on this feed. It's called 90%. We're still not going to really tell you. Listen to the first episode. We're going to debut it next Thursday in our Culture Garden spot. And then obviously come back the next week with all three of us for another classic, which is going to be School's Choice. But I'm excited to get the 90% underway and really get that rolling because it's something that's really needed. And I doubt Ray P will ever be on there because the shit we're going to be talking about, Ray P does not have the time for the bullshit we about to be talking about on that podcast.
Listen.
But we're going to try to get her in for 1 or 2. We're going to try to get her in for 1 or 2.
I hope that Ray P fuck with me enough that we can get her in for 1 or 2. Come on now.
But you know what's crazy? I'm not to go off track real quick. What's crazy is me and Ray P have a similar interest for a movie that you hate, and it will be perfect for it. But we both consider it a good movie. It's not a good. I'm not gonna get into it, man. We'll talk about it.
I think I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Something that everybody think is trash, but we love. It's just incredible. But that could be like, subscribe, share. We appreciate y'all, like I said, for tuning in with us. Before we get started, there will be spoilers and explicit content in this episode. Today's film is Crash, as you can tell by the title. This was my week to choose. So you're probably wondering, Rich, I know Ray P in school looking at me like, Rich, why did you choose this shit?
Yeah.
And I'm going to blame it on a listener. I was talking to, there were a few episodes back, late July, early August, whatever we dropped around that time. I made a point to say that Crash was horrible. Mm-hmm. And Jordan, shout out to Jordan, supporter, Culture Garden family. Jordan. She hit me up and said, yo, Crash was a good movie. And I'm like, huh? Like Crash wasn't a good movie. Now, I will say this. We were having a back and forth and I remembered it a little bit differently. And I was saying, if you do think it's a good movie, it's definitely not best picture good. Like if you ranked all the best pictures, I'm sure it's towards the middle or the bottom, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen Crash since it came out, since I was in high school around that time, maybe 06-ish. So I was like, let me go back and watch it. It's been a minute. That'd be the perfect choice. So I chose this film without watching it. And then I started watching it and I almost canceled. Me and Ray P was talking about it last night. We fuck around and not do this one. So yeah, we'll get into the reasoning and my feelings on this movie and all of ours. But the synopsis: Los Angeles citizens with vastly separate lives collide in interweaving stories of race, loss, and redemption. The film was released May 6, 2005, directed by Paul Haggis. Paul Haggis has the distinction, I think, of being the only person to win the Best Picture back-to-back years.
Yeah.
He won it for, he wrote the screenplay for $1 Million Baby the year before Crash, and then obviously he directed this film. The film was written by Paul Haggis and Bobby Moresco. Had a budget of an estimated $6.5 million and made $98.4 million worldwide. Very tight budget for all the things that Paul wanted to do. The cast even agreed to defer their, take pay cuts and defer their payments until after the film because everybody believed in this movie. Yeah. Hollywood darling. But it made $98.4 million worldwide. 9.1 million the opening weekend. It is the lowest grossing Best Picture winner since 1987. And I think The Hurt Locker a few years after this beat that record, but it's towards the bottom of most gross films as far as Best Picture.
87 Last Empire, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I have it written down. I can't remember what it was. I'm thinking about a different movie. Never mind. I'm thinking about Sting.
Now, let me say this real quick. There's a few movies that I remember when they came out and how big they were. I remember Crash was huge. Like this movie was, everybody saw this movie and everybody like Crash. You got to see Crash. It's good. And
man, we gonna talk about it, man. We're gonna get into that conversation. The film is currently streaming on Pluto and Freevee. Those are both free apps. You don't need a subscription. You can check them out. They do have ads, just an FYI. As far as awards go, 112 total nominations with 66 wins. The big ones, of course, they won 3 Academy Awards. Best Picture, Best Writing and Original Screenplay for Paul Haggis, and Best Achievement in Film Editing for Hughes Winborn. Haggis was also nominated for Best Director, and Matt Dillon was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I always laugh when when people do that racist role too well. What place are you digging into to tap in?
Yeah.
Black Reel Awards. Best Supporting Actor went to Terrence. What's up?
No, I was gonna say you missed the Oscar. Best Original Song.
I don't care. I do not care.
That's an award
for what song?
Best Original Song.
I have it in my notes that this score is terrible.
I mean,
what's the song that was nominated?
It's called Deep.
Okay.
We only acknowledge the Deep by Big Sean and Lil Wayne. Shout out to them.
Shout out to Wayne.
Yeah, man. Best song. I don't care, man.
Hey, shout out to Gucci Mane.
Oh, I was gonna say Blackstreet Deep.
Yeah, you can do that too. The R&B. That's why we got you, Ray. The R&B group. It did win some Black Reel Awards. Best Supporting Actor to Terrence Howard. Best Ensemble Cast. Ludacris, Don Cheadle, and Thandie Newton were nominated. And as far as the NAACP Image Awards, it won the Best Picture. Outstanding Supporting Actor for Terrence Howard. And all the same actors were nominated along with Lorenz Tate for awards there. We'll get into the cast. We have Don Cheadle as Graham. Thandie Newton as Christine. Terrence Howard as Cameron. Lorenz Tate as Peter. Loretta Devine as Shaniqua Johnson. Keith David. Keith David as Lieutenant Dixon. Nona Gay as Karen. Chris Bridges, better known as Ludacris, as Anthony. Sandra Bullock as Jean. Brendan Fraser as Rick. Matt Dillon as Officer Ryan. Ryan Phillippe as Officer Hanson. Michael Pena as Daniel, and William Fincher as Flanagan. As far as the origin, Paul Haggis got carjacked at Blockbuster in 1991 when he was leaving the premiere of Silence of the Lambs. Got carjacked by 2 black dudes, and he was inspired to look at race and class in America. And for all these years, he was probably waking up every morning saying nigga until he decided that he came up with a good screenplay because he decided to release Crash.
Hey.
But nah, he really did start thinking about, all joking aside, he really did start thinking about race and ethnicity and class after his carjacking. And he said he wrote this film not just to criticize racists, but to bust liberals for the idea that the United States has become a post-racial society. Something important to think about when I was watching this film, because I, as you guys can't tell already, I'm not a big fan, but this is post, very 4 or 5 years post 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And also, all 3 of us were in high school when this film came out.
Yeah.
And I mentioned earlier, I haven't seen it since its debut, pretty much. I've done so much living. All three of us have done so much living in this world since the first time we saw this film, and I think that plays a big part as to why I feel this way. It's so cartoonish and stereotypical, and
Yep.
I was waiting on Keenan Ivory Wayans to pop up and just say message, like damn. It just doesn't age well. The film does not age well overall. So I don't. While I will, make my jokes and talk my shit, I will acknowledge that when it did come out, it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was something. I don't remember having these feelings as a 18-year-old when I first saw the film. I thought it was unique. I'm a big fan of nonlinear. Pulp Fiction means everything to me. So nonlinear storytelling. It was cool. It was a trailblazer in some sense. But other than that, this is a one and done film. And I was sitting there thinking, like, damn, is this my Queen and Slim? Like, is this how Rachel feels? I was watching this film. It took me 3 different sections to finish one viewing.
Yeah.
And I was watching it and I was like, damn, is this how Rachel feels about Queen and Slim? I finally understood, right?
Man,
I never thought I had a movie that I hated that bad. I know I talk about Crossover, but Crossover was never revered as a great movie. This is a Best Picture winner.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't hate this nearly as much as I hate Queen and Slim.
The crazy thing about this movie is, for it to be nominated for a Best Picture, you have to nominate someone for an Oscar. Like it's like mandatory. I don't think it should have been Matt. What's his name?
Matt
Dillon. I will shout out to Johnny Drama, Kevin Dillon on Entourage, that's Matt Dillon's real brother in real life. But I will disagree a little bit there. I thought Matt Dillon was probably Terrence Howard.
I like Michael. I like Michael.
Michael Pena was good too.
Pena. That's my guy in this. He was very good in this.
Yeah, but I'm cool with nobody getting nominated. I'm cool with this film not being nominated. I actually think this film winning the Best Picture might have been the worst thing for it.
Yeah.
It might have been the worst thing for it. I think a lot of people look at it differently. If you can go Google it right now, think pieces all these years later, and it's notoriously ranked as the worst Best Picture winner of all time.
Of all time, yes. Yep.
That's very interesting. I think that there are a lot of horrible Oscar-winning movies, especially for Best Picture. We haven't gotten into it, but you said, we were in high school. So May 2005, that's senior year. I'll jump in. I do remember seeing this in the theater. And to your point, I do remember loving this movie. Feeling it was so deep, so impactful, so meaningful. For those that don't know, I went to Catholic school, pre-K through 12. And for high school, we went to the good Catholic school. Shout out to CCHS. And
dominant football program too.
State champs, baby.
Dominant.
It was a big thing, and so I guess you could call it, like, in today, the woke school. It had it was the most diverse, this and the third, the most Black people. Just a lit ass high school experience for what it was. It was a big thing to have seen Crash, to experience it. And we talk a little bit about race. Again, this is 4 years post 9/11. So racial tensions are still very high.
Completely different America.
But a completely different America, even though America will never be a post-racial society. And I don't know if we'll do that in this, because this is a light, fun show. I'm not going to get into my AFST bag, but I don't hate Crash. While watching, I don't have any notes now, but I didn't hate the movie. I still understood, especially where we are now, all of these years later, where racial tensions are maybe equally as high, if not higher. There is a significant class divide. I do like the stories where, and I think Crash maybe kicked it off, where everybody is related, because it's a small world. Everybody is only 6 degrees. There's only 6 degrees of separation between you and Joe Schmo, So Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, those movies have all followed this I don't know, this plot. I didn't hate it. I
Okay.
didn't love it. I'm not about to watch it again, but I didn't have the visceral reaction that you
Yeah.
are having. And that is funny to me because I'm actually very surprised. Um,
Um,
and there is a part of me, so many people are racist. I think that this film makes you confront your own personal biases, even no matter how down, quote unquote, you are, how tolerant. Most people still, there is still something, just a little in you that
Yeah.
makes you side
yeah.
eye the next person, or you think that you're above social programming and this and the third, but here you are grabbing your bag when these
Yep.
two
Yeah.
black men walk past. I mean, even though they did rob him, but he, it could have been two white men who would have also robbed them, and you would not have had that same reaction, you know? So
yeah.
Right.
it was very interesting to me, just given that, and given where we are, given all of our current talks about race, cultural biases, all these DEI classes, and this and the third. Like, it's still not that far off all these years later, for real, for real.
Mm,
Nah, you're absolutely right. In school, real quick, before you jump in, because I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, because like you said, right, this ain't really that podcast. I
Yeah.
think the reason why, because I did like it when it first came out. I don't remember
Mhm.
my first experience, but I did like it when it first came out and thought it was, um, captivating and told a good story. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, that I've done so much living. This is literally 18 years ago for me.
Yeah.
And I've done so much living and growing and had so many conversations and real moments with people that I always appreciate those conversations, the real deep shit, more than the stereotypical. It kind of got in its own way a little bit. I think it
Yeah.
did. It was trying to do a little too much,
yeah.
and that's something that I noticed 18 years later. And I
Yeah.
think that's why I look at it as quote unquote trash. It's not a trash movie. I don't want to use it. I think trash is a little bit too harsh
Yeah.
because it's
It's not
not.
clean and slim.
Yeah, trash is a little too hard, but it's definitely an overrated film, and
For
I
sure.
don't think that it had a weak Oscar year. And Oscars, who
Mhm.
cares? Whatever, you know what I'm saying. But historically speaking, they are an award show, and this is a film podcast. It didn't have a weak. It had a weak Oscar year, but man, it's, I've said my piece. It just didn't age well. Like
Yeah.
you cannot sit there and I would look at someone weird if they told me like Crash is one of their favorite movies. It's something they watch on a yearly basis. Like why?
I
Like
would
go meet
be,
some black people and have a conversation. Go meet somebody from a different community and have these conversations. You know what I
but
mean?
you likely won't.
Nah.
So stop watching Crash. This shit is not
You
how it
likely
like. It was
won't.
too. I don't like movies that make white people feel good about racism or feel okay.
Is
Like or
that what
don't
you
feel
think
as
this did?
look at the poster of the movie. You got this black woman falling in this white man's arms while she crying. Oh,
Not
look at me
only that,
saving you. Yeah, I did some fuck shit, but I get to redeem myself. Like that is, he didn't earn that. And I will
oh,
say
He
this: they
didn't.
did make this a television series. I think this would have been much better had it been a series because there's too much to pack into 2 hours.
It
Like if you're
was
gonna have
a
these talks, let's
television
have these talks.
series
I know it was on Stars.
on Stars, and I used to watch it.
Yeah, yeah. If you, I think, and that show ended because R.I.P. The incredible great Dennis Hopper,
Dennis
Mhm.
Hopper.
who was the character in there. He passed away, and the show just kind of went away with that because there's no replacing Dennis Hopper at all.
Yeah,
But like, there's too much that you're trying to pack in 2 hours.
for sure.
And like I said, if you, I'm one of those people like we're gonna have the conversation. Let's have the conversation. Let's
Yeah.
really dive into some shit. So yeah,
But here's the thing. Most people don't want to have the actual conversation.
so
No.
that's why art is the
So
best
I'm going to
platform.
watch a movie. I may tune in, I may be focused, but they don't want to actually get into the hows and whys they came to be the way that they are. You know what I'm saying? They don't, that's not
And I think
interesting.
that's
That's
why I
not
think
sexy.
art. That's why I think art and film is the best medium to force people to have these conversations.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah. They definitely, I'm sure, watch this movie and then donate to some type of,
Yeah.
inner city program or some shit like that.
For sure.
Back to what y'all was saying. I know you guys said you guys were in high school. We all were in high school. It was your senior year.
Mhm.
I I was in high school, but I also remember, because I graduated 07, I remember watching this movie in African American studies. Like, they made us watch this movie in school. That's how good it
Coach,
was.
with Mr. Pollitt.
Coach Pilot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. that Boondocks episode when he had that white dude teach African American Kwanzaa and shit, that was Mr. Pollitt.
That's Mr. Pilot. Yep. And he was a basketball coach, huh?
Anyway. So with that being said, in school, what was your first experience? Do you remember? Was it in class?
No. It was in theater. I definitely saw this in theaters.
Okay.
And you know, just like everyone else, I was on it. Yeah, this movie is amazing. This is awesome. But just like you, I'm rewatching it. I'm just like, I don't even know if I should say this. I don't like Thandie Newton in this movie, bro. Like,
oh, you could have stopped that. You didn't have to continue. In this movie. Yeah, D-Way is crazy.
Yeah, she changed her name now. His name is Stan D-Way, but back then it was Thandie.
Whatever.
I looked at that and I was wondering why is there a W in here now? And then I did the research.
Yeah.
So yeah. Classic or not, y'all?
Hell
no.
I don't even think it's culturally relevant. I get what they were trying to do. Shout out to them for trying. I get what they were trying to do. It just doesn't carry. It doesn't curl all the way over in 2023.
Nah, and it definitely
shelf life.
The crazy part is if all these same movies were up for Best Picture, Brokeback Mountain would win every time. 9 times out of 10, Brokeback Mountain would win that award.
It was smoking, yeah, and everybody thought
it was even controversial then, like that.
It was controversial back then, for sure, man. Matter of fact, to this day, Crash is only the second film ever to have won Best Picture at the Oscars without being nominated at the Golden Globes. That's usually if you win at the Golden Globes, usually you win the Oscar as well. Like, it rarely doesn't happen. This and The Sting, the film I was talking about earlier, that came out in 1973. Those are the only two films ever. Robert Redford, Paul Newman. Yeah, I'm talking about them. So, Rachel, you were having that look like you were debating whether or not this was a classic.
I don't know if I'm going to call it a classic, but it is pop culture relevant. Maybe not the culture, but it is relevant for pop culture.
This movie is the, I don't know, that might be a little too harsh. But what they're doing down in Florida right now, like, that's what this movie is. I feel like that's who this movie's catered for. Like, who is this film for?
Well, what did the director say? For racists and liberals. And liberals. The biggest takeaway for me is that everybody is racist.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that you have to reconcile within yourself. It's not a good movie, but it's not horrible. Like, I get why it was made. I get what they were trying to
do. 100%.
Even if trying is an excuse for failure, like, I get where they were going, even if we didn't get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's
I definitely get
it. Hard for me to just like completely bash it because I wasn't rolling my eyes while watching. I'm like, oh, this is dumb. You know, I felt like that on multiple occasions. And I thought it was really just interesting. So for Matt Dillon's character, you want to justify your racism. That is relatable to so many people.
Yeah.
Especially where they think they helped the blacks out, this, that, and the third. And meanwhile, yeah, this was given to minority contractors, but was it really?
Right.
Was it to black men?
Right.
Or was it to white women who then share companies with their white husbands? So because women are considered a minority, you know, those are the biggest, white women are the biggest benefactors or beneficiaries of affirmative action. We'll see. It out. Of affirmative action. So what I think they were trying to do or how it was conveyed is that there is a lot of misplaced and displaced frustration,
Mm-hmm.
um, which causes for a lot of prejudice unnecessarily. This and the third, you know. So I don't know. I hate this
And I'm
shit.
cool. I'm cool with that I'm cool with all of that. I don't know what the movie was trying to do. I'm very good.
Mhm,
I know when Matt Dillon was giving that speech, or not Matt Dillon, the character, excuse me, not calling let me call him about his character. The officer was
mhm.
telling her about his dad. Shanique was about his dad and how he paid black people equal. I know that there was some white people in the audience saying this nigga spitting.
Mhm,
Like,
for
I know it was
sure,
feeling that way. I'm
for
sure it
sure.
was. I'm sure that the same way when Flanagan was talking to Don Cheadle and saying "fucking black people." Like I
Mhm,
know people feel that way,
for
and
sure.
I guess I can't cater this towards my personality because everybody's different.
Yeah.
I prefer knowing that shit. Like say that shit to me.
True.
Like let's have a conversation. I'm in
Absolutely.
tune at this age, at this point in my life. I'm in tune with my emotions enough to I would embrace that conversation. I would love to know more about it and just walk away maybe knowing a little bit more. But it all comes down to if you're going to have these conversations, if you're going to have these scenes, what is the resolution? And there is none. Like, look at this character, the officer, I think Ryan, I forget his name. There's nothing that really, what did he learn? He learned
Nothing.
that we're all human. Like, exactly. So that's what at least have him have something redeeming, have him learn something, have him walk away with something.
He was redeemed. He helped Thandiwe, after she had gotten into an accident.
I
He had
know,
to
but
reconcile with the fact that he harmed her, and while he was there to do his actual job on this occasion, he had to reconcile with the fact that in their last interaction, he didn't, and he actually did her harm.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see the solemnity on his face?
I saw it.
Uh,
I also can picture in my head him. I just don't think he changed. Like nothing changed for him. He woke up the next day and was the same person.
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
It was
but
a
that's most
moment.
people.
Yeah, I
Even
get
I can
what you're
have something
saying.
negative happen,
It
but
just
I'm
was.
gonna be the same person.
It just wasn't enough. I just don't think it was. That man think that nigga had his whole shit in
He
her.
sexually assaulted her. Yes, he
yep,
did.
Yeah,
yep. And not only that, he kind of mentored Ryan Phillippe. I can't remember the character's name. They didn't really say their names a lot either in the movie.
Right.
Like it was weird. But
Officer
anyway,
Hanson.
Hanson, yes, he even kind of triggered him and made him not saying he wasn't racist or he didn't feel a certain way about black people because he tried. But even the
Mhm.
last scene, it was like, when he grabbed him up and told him, you be on the force for 17 years, like
Yeah.
you will feel this way too. Like
He planted the
he
seed in his
planted that
head, or at
seed.
least he watered the seed that
Yeah.
was already there.
Yep.
That scene was reminiscent to me of Inside Man, where
Yeah.
the officer is telling Denzel about, these three black kids, It was very reminiscent of that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel that. It's
But if I feel like if you do this movie now, you would follow three characters and keep it at that. Like it was just way too much going on.
yeah. I'm
I'm
not even gonna
not
knock
mad.
the.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm not even gonna knock the idea of it being connected. Like I'm not even upset at that, or
Mhm.
even the amount of characters that they want to weave in. Because, like I said, at one point, I, they were hitting us over the head with this message so much that I
Mhm.
think it just lost its soul and its heart. And I
And
think
that's
that's
Yeah.
part
the
of
point.
the issue.
Yeah.
I don't
They
want to,
could
like I said, I
totally
give them
do it
credit for what they
today.
did.
For sure. They could totally do it today. Same amount same amount of characters in the ensemble cast, but they just have to tell a much better story.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
characters will have to be developed significantly better,
Yeah.
with
And I
more we
think
get
that's
more in this time. And I
Yeah.
mentioned Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve, similar, about 7 people that they're following, and all these stories
Yeah.
are intertwined in some kind of way, but it was just done better.
and those aren't and you're not those movies aren't trying to tell serious. They're not trying to have serious conversations with their
Right,
audience. You
Right.
know what I
right.
mean? Like that's and once
Mhm.
again, that's just my whole beef with this. If you're gonna have this, if you're gonna really have the talk, have the talk. Don't make it into this cookie cutter. I'm gonna take every stereotype that I can think of and
Yeah.
try it in a movie. Like, come on, man. At some
Yeah.
point, it's gonna get a little bit old.
Yep.
But
Because
here's the thing.
man.
And having
But
to
it happens
talk,
in real life. All of this happens in real life. I get it.
yeah, for sure.
Oh
But in
yeah.
having to talk, you have to be honest.
Yep.
And they're not gonna be honest in that writer's room.
Nope.
So this is what
Yeah.
you get when everything is surface level. I want to expose this, but I don't want to treat the wound. I want to open it, but I don't want to treat it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I want to show
Yeah.
you, but that I'm just gonna show you, and I'm gonna cover it back up, but act
That
like you
makes
didn't see
me
it, even though I know you did. You know what I'm
that
saying?
makes me think of Rachel's that make me think of Rachel's boo, Kevin Garnett. In Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems when he said, why the fuck you gonna show me something if I can't have it? Like that
Exactly.
kind of thing. Like, why are you even gonna go down this path if we can't really do what we need to do?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
pause. Love that. I thought you were going somewhere else with Kevin Garnett and me and Uncut Gems, but I'm
Oh
glad that
no.
you were discussing like the movie.
Out of all the we've been recording together for quite some time, Rachel. And I think out of all the wild shit you said, Uncut Gems is top 3. Because you said it so casually, you said it so matter of factly. Like it's like, yeah. Let's talk about the scenes.
For sure.
I don't really have them as best scenes. They're more so the scenes that I just want to have a conversation about.
Mhm.
Okay.
Obviously we can do it how y'all want to do it, but my scenes aren't necessarily this movie. The way it's told is hard to,
Yeah.
so whatever.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start. And this isn't even really. I just wrote this down for some bullshit. The opening car crash, just because, like Rachel said, that real racism that people have. You see, and I love the fact they were smart. They didn't do like black and white. They used 2 different,
For sure.
nationalities to go back and forth. And
They
the
had
whole
to.
maybe if you could see over the steering wheel, and I blake too fast. I blake like just that. Yeah. I've always said it, and I will always continue to say it. I'm a little fucked up in the head, but there is some funny racism, man. There's some shit that you just the audacity of it. You just like, what the fuck, and you can't help but laugh.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. I would have been at the scene like, yo, y'all wild.
They
y'all gotta chill out.
When it's not you, and when it's not harmful,
it's
She said, I'll call immigration Mexican. I'm like, damn. If I was a cop, I'd be like, shit, chill out.
Y'all crazy.
Yeah, y'all gotta relax.
Oh shit.
Oh man, but I just wanted to mention that just because they started us out the gate with it. We knew what time it was when we got here.
Sure.
And then it goes into the gun shop. Like it goes right into the gun shop scene. Like, bro, dude was fooling, bro. And that is, America post 9/11,
absolutely.
Post 9/11, man, I think Tax Stone talked about it in New York and just how, and even here, like just how united everyone was against Arabs. I mean,
certain group, yep.
I hate to say it like that, but that's just
no.
Like we were united, and if you weren't black or white or Asian,
if you weren't quote unquote American,
you were man. Oh,
that's
man.
how it was.
Yep.
It was a tough day.
That's really how it's wild to think, like, because we're so far removed from it, but that was
the one time you seen black and white unity.
Yeah. It was strong too, man. It was strong.
That shit was crazy.
But that, I mean, and then even now because of Trump, like if you're around and someone is speaking a different language, it can immediately turn into that. Like, yo, stop. What are you saying? Is that the best you can do? English? And dude was fooling, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Even talking to the daughter like that.
At the top school, we're back essentially where we were when this came out, or at least when they were filming. It is still very tense, racially speaking, in America.
For sure.
Who the fuck is
you?
Who is your people? What are you speaking?
Nah, that's real. That's real, man. The Keith David scene. The only scene we get with Keith David as the lieutenant.
My favorite thing.
Yeah, so just the reason I even have this written down is because it is a real, and everything I'm going to mention as far as these scenes are really highlights of the film to me. But this is one of the truest scenes ever.
Yep.
Black man in a position of power
Mhm.
as he says it, in the racist ass LAPD.
Mhm.
First of all, how you think I got here? You know how hard I worked and how many times I've been looked over.
Yeah.
And you think I'm about to give that all up because your ass can't
Yep.
take a racist officer? And I love how he kept spinning shit on him. Like, yeah, he a
Every
racist. We
time.
know he a racist prick. Oh, I just want to. Oh, you cool with having a racist on the force? As long as he
he
ain't
in
with
your
you.
car, huh?
Yeah,
Mhm.
like him breaking it down for him. Like, if you think that I'm gonna give you this transfer because you asking for it and you can't take a little shit, you out your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you about my story. I'm not putting my neck on the line for you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, embarrass yourself. Tell people you got flatulence.
He told him he's been on the force for 17 years, and 11 of them was under my watch. So you telling me that he's been a racist bigot for all these years, and it was under me. So now you fucking with my managerial skills. Like, but go ahead, write a report. I can't wait to read it. Like,
because at the end of the day, that's a machine.
mm-hmm.
You know, the LAPD. I know we look at you look at cops as individuals, but it's a machine. It's a whole big system.
Yeah,
It never stops where it is. There's always another level.
Yeah.
So he can't, bro. Like, if you got to get a whole new profession, if that's how you feel.
Yeah. And
no matter where you go by yourself, you're gonna put yourself in a deeper hole. Because now people know. You heard him joking with him when he got on the radio. There's some noises coming from your car, and bro, that's what you own now. They gonna bully you until you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely a gang amongst themselves, and they have their own rules and regulations, and you don't turn on each other or turn one of us in. And you see how quick he grabbed him. He knew. He gave him that handshake. He knew. Like, yo, wait till you've been on the force for 17 years.
Hey,
you these niggas.
That's that same speech Melvin gave Jody. Nigga, 10 years.
When you
at 10 years, nigga.
Straight up, man.
Yeah, nigga, let's see where you at.
Yep.
I fucking love.
And I respect it low key. Respect it low key. Like, I understand. We know Officer Ryan is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
How bad was it back in the day? Like, how much did it take for him to get to this point? And there's been plenty real life. Officer Mark Furman in the OJ case. Famously would talk about that. Like, well, he sued the city of Los Angeles because he said the job turned him into a racist.
Yep.
You can Google all of this. This is real shit.
Yeah.
So I think about, and this is obviously in Los Angeles, coincidentally, I can respect that scene. Because we talk about this on Winning Time, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here before. I put in my year 17 of them. You a rookie.
Yeah.
Like, you coming in here trying to switch shit up like you know what's going on. Like I said, like Melvin said, let's see where you at in 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. So that's him. He's there for Rodney King. He's there for, well, maybe not.
Nah, he's there for the Rodney year because it's 04 when it's come out, or 05 when it come out. So, yeah.
He was there.
Yeah, he would have been there.
So that's riots, all types of things.
He's experienced a lot.
He's experienced, and I'm not justifying that by any means, but experience does shape your behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, and let me be clear, I don't respect him as a person in his racism and bigotry. I respect the fact that he has enough wherewithal to know, like, you're gonna see some shit on this job.
Yeah.
And let's see how you turn out from it.
Yeah.
And just keeping it real. I love honesty. No matter how fucked up it is, I appreciate honesty.
Yeah.
For sure.
School, you gotta. Oh, my fault, Rachel.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say, I told you I don't have no notes for real, but definitely a scene that stood out to me was our introduction to Ludacris and Lorenz Tate, because they weren't in the hood robbing black people. They were their own Robin Hoods.
Yeah.
There are criminals who follow that same philosophy. Like, I'm not gonna do this to my own people, but you can get it.
Yeah.
And Ludacris, what was his character's name?
His character's name was Anthony.
Anthony. He reminded me of so many people. Like, you preaching all of this shit, but here you are still knocking people's heads over. You still robbing. But you talking about uplifting and this, that, and the third. You don't want to hear hip hop. You don't want to hear anything from the man. But nigga, you're robbing people. You're a thief. You're a common criminal.
I love Ludacris.
Mm-hmm.
Like always have. That's school's first favorite rapper.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Um, I could not stand his character in this film
Yeah.
because, to what I said earlier, nothing to do
Mm-hmm.
with Ludacris, nothing to do with any of the acting in this film at all. It's the story itself.
Yeah.
I know this guy does more than complain and talk about how the man's got us fucked up and how we need to do better and this that, and the third. Like every conversation was that. Like, look, can we get one scene where he's just like a human
You don't know
and
no
give us a
niggas
little
like
bit of
that.
something? Not all, but yes, I do. But at least I know them well enough to get those human moments.
Right.
Like every scene he was beating, and that's what I meant earlier when I said at the end of it, you kind of worn out by it. Because, bruh,
Mhm.
I get it. We get it. I know this, and this is why I can't go all the way in, because everything that happens is real shit.
Mhm.
It's real shit. Like you said, I know somebody like that. I know somebody that picks up on stuff like that. I'm sure there have been plenty of times where black men have been in restaurants with black waitresses and not get help
For sure.
because there's a stereotype about them. I know all of this is real, but damn, it's just
But then you
tough to
honored
be
the
beat up in the head with.
stereotype.
You said what?
and then you turned around and validated because you ain't tip.
Right.
Yeah, then you turn around and validate it.
He said, "You think I'm a?"
And that's true too.
Yeah.
He said, "You think I'm gonna pay for service like that?" And that's exactly how we validate it too. Shit, you think I'm about to pay for that bullshit? School, do you have a scene? Like I said, I got 3 more that I just want to talk about. But if you got some, we can roll into them.
I guess the district attorney, after they got robbed, just Sandra Bullock's character, Mrs.
Not
Abbott.
girl.
Abbott, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
How she was going off, bro, about about her locks, man. She wanted the locks changed because homeboy is gonna sell their key. Bro, she was going in. Sandra should have been nominated.
That's what I was gonna say during that discussion. She should have been the one.
She should.
You know why she probably wasn't. She's in this film for a total of like 5 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah,
like she was billed as top billing, but she has like 5 minutes of screen time. That's probably why she wasn't.
Yeah, sheesh.
She did hold it down.
Supporting.
Yeah, she was really good in this movie.
Yeah,
yeah
she can hold it down. Yeah, listen. Her speech was, once again, I know when she was giving that speech to her husband about, since I'm, if you're white and you see 2 black guys coming in, you turn around, then you're racist. And I was scared, and I can't say it because I don't want to be looked at this way. I know there's people in the theater saying she's spitting.
Hey.
I get it. A lot of people feel that way, and I do appreciate those type of conversations, exposing it.
Yeah,
but like I said,
but also I'm sure there's people in there saying that she was spitting when she hugged her maid and said that you my only friend or my best friend or whatever it was.
She probably really is.
Yeah, that's like
it doesn't know it.
Doesn't
it was at that moment she realized it.
Because all these people I call my friends and spend all my time with and have, quote unquote, the most in common with, couldn't come help me where I've fallen down the stairs. I've fallen and can't get up. But you get a massage and you can't even come check on me.
Something as small as falling and spraining your ankle, you can't call your homie or your friend to come check on you or take you to the hospital. You got to call Rosie and get her to do it. Like, that's insane.
Nuts.
Crazy.
Nutso. Flanagan. Fucking black people. What's your thoughts on this scene?
Hey, good ass acting.
Ray P, what you got to say?
This is him and Don Cheadle?
Yes.
Nothing. That's how it is. Lots of backdoor deals. And the powers that be will find any reason not to promote you, even if you are a good black yourself, I think it'd be like that. I thought it was real. Again, nothing.
That's my biggest thing, yeah.
In this movie is unrealistic.
Right.
That's the crazy part. Like, all of this shit are things that happen randomly, maybe not connected, but none of this shit is fake. All of this shit is real.
That was my main takeaway from it. This is a real. This
Mhm.
has happened dozens and dozens and dozens of times. This is politics at this point.
For
You
sure.
know, from the we need a person of color in this position
Mhm.
to we got some dirt over you.
Mhm.
Like how you want this to go? You tell
Mm-hmm.
me. All
Yep.
types of shit, like all of it, and just the honesty.
Yeah.
Because he said some shit that you aren't. He said the quiet powder out loud. Just them two in a room, and Don Cheadle kind of what you say, and he doubled down like
Yeah.
you
You
hear me.
heard? Yep.
He
You
kind of
heard?
explained it on something. I know that I know for a fact there's a ton of people that feel that way. Like I ain't got nothing against y'all, but
Yeah.
damn, like
Yep.
we trying to give y'all some opportunity, but shit, y'all keep fucking it up. Like
Yep.
y'all want to sing this "Woe Is Me" song and blah blah blah. Once again, there is a larger conversation to be had, but the irony of it is, no matter what you say in return to that, here I am with this file on your brother proving my point.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are about
Right.
to make this deal because that's
Mhm.
just what it is.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what are you really gonna say?
Yeah.
I appreciate
Mm.
that scene. Like I think it's probably the most
Yeah.
realistic scene in the film.
In the film. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I know that happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Niggas just said fucking black people, you gotta take it. And tell the story he wants you to tell.
Yeah.
Be like that.
Mm-mm.
Two more scenes that I have that I want to just discuss real quick.
Mhm.
The first one's the Jamal scene with Tony Danza. And they're on
Mhm.
set and they're filming their show. And Tony Danza's and I was trying to figure out. It seems like because Terrence Howard's character, Cameron, he's the director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who is Tony Danza? Is he a fellow actor?
I think he's an actor.
I felt
Is
like
he
he
an
was
actor on the
an
set?
actor.
Because
Mhm.
I think Tony Dan is he credited as Tony Danza? I didn't even check because
What
that
do you
might
mean?
supposed to be Tony Danza. Shit.
Oh, I don't know. But I guess
I think he just
the
was
reason I'm
acting.
asking, the reason that I'm asking is because the way he kind of pressed him, like this is a problem, it was almost like he was a higher up that he called shots. Like if you don't want to shoot this again, then we're gonna replace you or something. As an actor, that's kind of bold, but I guess it might have been speaking to the culture. I haven't been on movie sets or anything like that, but it
Right.
might be speaking to the culture of how a black director is treated.
He's the star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He probably is. It's probably a white savior show. Who knows?
yeah, but just I was trying to sit there and think, and this ties in with the scene um, where Cameron gets pulled over
Mhm.
and Officer Ryan molests his wife. And I'm looking at both of these scenes, and I'm like, what would I do in this situation? I know what I do in a pullover scene. I know for sure.
Yeah,
Like, I know for sure in that one. But this one, like, do I fuck up? Do I fuck up the whole set right there? Like, there's no way I'm shooting this again. I'm not shooting this again.
Yeah.
I think that they were.
But just that cat. Go ahead, school.
No, I think what they were trying to speak to on that is just, and we heard it through in the argument with Cameron and whatever, Christina, is that his wife's name? Anyway,
Sure.
we heard in the argument them going back and forth on their blackness, who's blacker, who's realer. She's kept saying he was chucking and jiving for the policeman, and obviously he's not man. He's willing to take this white man's advice on what it means to be black or whatever, and that's just insane to me. Like,
but do you think that he was taking his advice, or do you think, hey, I'm a black, similar to Keith David's character, Lieutenant, I'm a black director in Hollywood, I can easily get blackballed. I can easily become a problem and not do this anymore. Somebody can say,
Yeah.
oh, he's a problem on set. I remember working with him once, and to make the show better, overall, I made a suggestion, and he was so egotistical that he decided that he knew best, and we didn't get the best quality product. That's how they spin those stories.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's difficult to work with. He's this, he's that. Did he look at that moment and say, I really love what I do, and I can't be afforded of the benefit of turning my back on somebody who means something, somebody who actually has ears when he talks. to the higher ups and whoever.
Right.
And was that him eating his crow and just swallowing his pride and saying, fuck this, but I got to do it? I don't know. I think it is. I think it's more that than I'm just going to take his advice. Especially when he said, I don't know, you're the expert in this. Like, bro, you crossing a lot of lines for me to be cool. Yeah. And you got to take the walk over and talk to the actor that's playing, or Jamal, and tell him, hey, I need you to talk a little bit more. Like, that just makes me, I don't know. That's one of the moments, like, is this business for me? But also, y'all know, obviously, listening how much we love film.
Right.
Like, damn, how much shit will I take before I say, you know what, fuck all y'all? Shit. He reached his boiling point, as we see later in the movie. He reached his point.
Yeah. Definitely.
With
a
yeah, I agree. I felt like he was trying not to be difficult, quote unquote. School, you mentioned the car scene, obviously, where his wife is assaulted by the officer. We haven't gotten the things that bother me, but that scene pissed me off. Not just from the assault perspective, but why are you carrying on like that? You know that we're literally in a life or death situation. That's the thing. This is LA, again, post Rodney King, post riots. You don't even need that. You just need to have been Black in America for any point of time. And y'all are old enough to know how dangerous that situation is. So people have been drunk in the car and been pulled over and sober up real quick when it's time to talk to the police. You know, not driving, not the drivers, you know, but passengers. Oh yeah, let me pull it together. So doing all of that when you fucking know and expecting.
Can I pause you?
Yeah.
Do you think they're too far removed? Obviously, like we mentioned, they question each other's blackness. Do you think that's even on their brain?
Obviously not. It was on his brain, but it wasn't on hers.
No, not at all.
And so, damn, School, you high-key got me thinking, because am I just passive or am I trying to survive?
Right.
He knew what the fuck was up. You know, yeah, we're having a good time, a little car fillet, haha, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Fuck, here's the police. Oh, a white officer? Fuck. Let me get my shit together.
Yeah.
And you still carrying on? Maybe she never had to talk. Maybe shit is sweet in the valley.
Well, he mentioned her background, you know, aquatics,
playing equestrian,
equestrians and all that, like
riding equestrian. Excuse me, not playing, riding equestrian.
So he called her out. He you know what's up with her. They obviously that's not the first time they've had that argument.
For sure. Damn, it's so many conversations I want to have in regards to like race and this and the third, and with that. But if that is the case, if she's so far removed, that is one of like my biggest qualms with keeping Black people away from other Black people. Like, when you miss out on those cultural things, it's tough. And I'm not saying you gotta go kick it in the hood, this and the third, but some shit you just know as a Black person. And if you are so far removed from knowing that shit, it is very dangerous.
The culture is universal. Like, there is somebody who was raised in Oakland, California, that had the same experiences. Listen to our intro, like Denzel. Like, I know, you know, we all know what it smells like when a hot home hit your hair on a Sunday morning. Like, that's just, no matter, it's anywhere USA where Black people at. It's just one of those things. And when you get older and you realize people didn't have those experiences, you kind of give them that, like, huh? Like, what's up with you? What's to you?
Yeah.
Not shunning them, not necessarily pushing them to the side, but knowing
you're gonna
have to move a different way, or I need to learn a little bit more about you so I know how to move. Because obviously we don't have the same type of experiences.
Are you gonna put my life in danger?
Well, let me ask this question too. I'm curious on this. Do you obviously, I guess he pulled them over. Do you think he pulled her over because he thought that she was a white girl giving him head? Like, you remember she said that, like, oh, you thought I was a white woman. He was.
No, maybe. Could be. It's possible. She could have like all the reasons are endless.
Yeah.
Because he didn't. Go ahead, Rachel.
No, I was gonna say it could be anything because the one of the few things I did write down is that why the fuck he ain't had no tinted windows?
Right.
You a whole Hollywood director. So you just driving around raw dogging it. It's crazy. Just in general. And to be getting a special gift from your wife on the road.
Well, the way Officer Hanson made it seem like Studio City, like that's the area it's like the Vegas Strip. Like you're not going to do anything crazy in this area. Like you're not still in the car and come to Studio City. Like
it's upscale. Like that's I think that was his point.
Yeah,
that was his point. So him getting pulled over. Listen, it's the cops. It's the police.
Yeah, the officer was mad at Shaniqua. That's just what it boils down.
No, I get that. Here's what I'm saying. I get the danger and pretty much close to guaranteed physical harm, assault, death that can possibly happen. But I don't know if I got it in me. I can't just sit. I can't just man. I can't just stand there and look at that. I can't take that.
Nope.
I can't. And I know what comes with it, but there's some things you got to put it on the line.
That's it.
You got to stand on that. There's no way me as a man would ever be able to look at my wife in her eyes, knowing that I watched that shit happen and apologize to this nigga. Like, there's no way I would ever expect her to respect me.
Yeah.
I understand the situation's fucked up, and I even understand that if you had just been quiet and stayed in the car, we wouldn't be in this situation. But you just, as she said, finger fucking your wife in front of me, I'm not going ever.
Nah.
There's no coming back from that.
What's the movie that Nate Parker made? It was a slave movie.
Birth of a Nation?
Yeah.
Yes. And the scene where the husband walks his wife, Gabrielle Union, to the master's house, to the big house. It reminded me of that. And then when Monique was getting at Charlemagne, the guy, like, you that brother.
Yeah.
But what
man, the results, whatever happens, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things where I look at Rachel, you're good about that, where you say, well, what are you going to do? Because you in such a jam where it's like, literally, if you don't do this, then something terrible is going to happen. But that's just one of them. I'm not going.
They're going to kill me and you.
They're going to kill. Yeah, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's just what it's got to be. I can't sit there and I can never look at myself the same ever. Knowing that I let that shit get off, like, come on, man. I'm supposed to protect my wife, and I'm letting this officer she did wear just trivia. She wore special underwear for that scene, like, so that there wasn't any kind of real contact. That's just random trivia, but I'm not letting that shit go down.
Nah, I'm a married man with 2 children, 2 daughters at that. I'm never going. Y'all just be burying me. I'm not. That shit boils my blood. Even thinking about that shit pisses me off because I have a wife and I put her face on that body.
For sure.
Like, yo, no.
I know what really bothered me, with these 2 characters, is after that happened, he kind of blamed her. He kind of victim blamed her. You can actually take the kind of off of. He was victim blaming her.
Yeah, he was victim.
Sure.
And I just wasn't with that. I'm like, niggas like head in the whip is for niggas like me, not for niggas like you. You feel me? Like,
he's a millionaire.
You shouldn't be. If this is how you responded and acted to that, like, especially when she came to visit him on the set and she ran away from it with the Cindy from Scary Movie run.
Bro, that shit was horrible. She's horrible.
But he was so cold to her, and I'm like, bro, your wife just got molested. I know she said some fucked up shit, but you did sit there and let him do it. Of course, she's gonna say some fucked up shit.
The ego is bruised, and it is not shit you can do with a man with a bruised ego.
All right, I get that, but my nigga, you just you were standing right there and let that man do whatever he wanted to me. Like she has
Okay,
every
are you
right.
prepared to die?
The fact,
He should be.
the fact that
It's
she
your
came
word against
back.
his. What are you gonna do?
I'm out of here.
I'm not
I'm outta
justifying.
here.
I
I'm
don't want
not
my nigga to
going.
ride for me. I just want to put that in the ethos. Like, don't think that I'm saying he's right. But what do you do? I'm gonna be mad at you if
Right.
you don't ride for me. But am I prepared to die right this second? No. Do I want to go to jail? Let these motherfuckers pin some false shit on us because you did this, that, and the third, because you've defended me. Now you've assaulted an officer, and now they can use deadly force on us. I have to live with your death. Because now if something happens to you, now I got the clown.
I get it.
Even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
I get it. I get it.
It's not just not justifying, because again, I expect you to slide for me.
Yeah.
I'm also not running my mouth to the police. And this is somebody who has gotten away with many a thing as a beneficiary of the blue line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I still know what the fuck to do and not to do in that kind of situation. Yeah, I don't know. That shit is crazy because I don't want you to die.
Point.
Shout out to
hopefully nobody's ever in that experience or in that situation to even have to make that decision. But it is an interesting, like I said, that's the last thing that I had. But these are all just interesting conversation because it is one of the worst positions to be in, and one of those.
Absolutely.
What do I do in this situation? Mainly because there is death at the other side of it. You cannot just go up and steal on a police officer.
That's it. Y'all seen Queen of Slim?
Yeah.
Oh, School, did you have any other scenes that you wanted to talk about?
No.
Okay then. And I know Ray, you ain't got no notes. you got commentary.
I got commentary. That's it.
Yeah, there you go. You got commentary.
It.
So
that's funny.
Best quotes. I did not have any quotes. There was nothing in here that I felt was quotable. Scene stealer.
Pause. Y'all niggas didn't talk about the mother, Don Cheadle and Lorenz Tate's mother, basically disowning him.
Yeah, I didn't.
When you didn't get the brother back. That shit is heartbreaking.
That's a deep conversation. So yes. I just avoided it altogether.
I think that his mom was sick in a way too. Like she seemed like she might have been suffering from dementia a little bit too. So it was just,
and she was using.
No, she was on drugs.
Oh, yeah, she was using. Like, there was a spoon and a needle on the table when he first walked in. Like she was definitely using, and that's why she said, "I was doing good. I was doing so good."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But there's so much to unpack there that I was just like, Culture Garden ain't necessarily the place for that.
Maybe this ain't for that. But that was.
I know we had heavier conversations than we normally do this episode, but that one's even more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, that was wrong. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Man. I derailed.
Scene stealers, which I believe everybody could probably qualify for this. Being an ensemble cast, there was no quote unquote main character. Maybe Don Cheadle, maybe Matt Dillon, but other than that, School. Who you got?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock for you too, Rachel.
Sandra Bullock and Michael Pena. He was really good in this too, man. Really
good. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at Sandy B. Well, I'm not mad at her as a pick. I was mad at her in this movie. I'm gonna say Chris Bridges.
Chris Bridges. He did a great job for what he was.
For what he was doing, for what it was.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Anthony. Part of me wants to say Keith David for his one scene, but I think I'm going to go with William Fincher.
Okay.
That's Flanagan.
Yeah, he was good.
That one scene with Don Cheadle, I think that was just really good. Yeah, that's going to be my choice. Things that bother you? I know we talked about a few throughout the episode.
The one thing that bothered me was they was riding around in the district attorney's car for way too long.
Yeah.
The district attorney, nigga, of LA.
They don't know that. They don't know that though.
And that bothered me. Like, ain't no APB out for this license plate. And I know they went to the chop shop, but come on now. That bothered me. Them referring is Chinaman LA language for Chinese?
I'm sure it's I'm under the belief it's a slur. I'm sure it's slang / slur, not slur like in the most evil way, but
that was bothering me. Okay, Chinaman, and if that's let us know because I'm not saying it like that. I'm quoting. And that bothered me because it didn't seem like it was realistic, and maybe they were trying to get away from the more known slurs, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't no N words flying. It wasn't any S words for the Latin community that wasn't flying. So maybe they didn't want to say CH dash 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 X. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's what they were trying to avoid, but it just was very weird and it was taken away from everything from me.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Any actors from The Wire? Thank goodness, no. Soundtrack, like I said, I wasn't a fan of the score at all. It was fine, but some of it was a little bit much. Wouldn't let that happen to me. If I was Michael Pena, I'd have sold them keys. Fuck her. I'd have caught the homies ASAP. Like, yeah, got a lick.
Man, I'm weak.
Facts.
No, you wouldn't have.
I'm talking shit. Anybody got anything though?
I wouldn't be talking shit to the police. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I would have shut
that whole segment, that whole scene. None of that would have been handled a whole different way.
And that's not to say I haven't done some things in the vehicle. So relatable content, but when it's time to shut up.
That shit's like I said, that shit's reserved for niggas like me.
Well, it's time to shut up. It's time to shut up.
Oh shit, man. School, did you have anything for the category?
No, sir.
You got any trivia, my brother?
Actually, I do. Paul Higgins actually used his home. The scene, the cabins where they were changing the locks. Michael Pena's character was changing the locks. That's actually the director's home due to budget cuts. He only had, like you said, $6 million to work with. So with that, he used his own house, which is insane. Another thing is Heath Ledger was signed on to be Officer Henson, Ryan Phillippe's character, but he was not able to do it. So that's all I had.
Ironically, he was in the film that this movie beat. He was in Brokeback.
Yeah.
Also, Forrest Whitaker was originally offered Terrence Howard's role as a TV director, but he dropped out. I didn't see any reasoning as to why, probably scheduling, but he did drop out of the project.
I could see Forrest Whitaker.
And Brendan Fraser, you said what?
I could see Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, I could see it. When I thought about it, I saw that too. And Brendan Fraser, the combination of Don Cheadle being a producer on this film and Brendan Fraser being cast is what got this film greenlit.
That's crazy.
I think that's it. Yeah, I talked about the TV series, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So,
hold on, one more thing. It's the second movie in a row where Ludacris got his ass whipped by Terrence Howard.
Well, shout out to Dead Presidents too. Keith David, Terrence Howard, and Lorenz Tate.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of them. But yeah, this is the second movie in a row. He got his ass whipped by Terrence Howard. That's a good call. The first of the two, should I say?
Yeah, first.
With that being said, we get to the part of the episode where we look at the average viewer rating.
It's crazy.
If it's too high, too low, just right. The average viewer rates this film 7.7 out of 10.
All of them had to come in 2006.
All of them had to. Right, P? Too high, too low, just right.
2005. Just right. Maybe too low. 2023. Too high. 5.7.
Okay.
I agree with you. Like you said, 05, 7.7. Right now, 5.5.
Got you. I also think it's important to say, I meant to say this earlier, Paul Haggis has even been on the record and said his film does not deserve to win Best Picture. Of course, if somebody give you the keys to a Bentley, you ain't about to give them back.
Right.
But nigga, my license suspended. I don't deserve these keys.
Thanks for the whip, though.
Yeah, I do agree with y'all. Just right back when it came out. Originally, I had it at a 5. Having a conversation with y'all, I literally thought of 5.7, like you said, Rachel. Before you said it, I said 5.7. That's what I'm going with. I'm going 5.4. I feel like I need to have the lowest rating on this episode.
Yeah, because you hated it. I didn't hate it. It just wasn't.
Yeah, because I definitely dislike it probably more to school. So I'm going 5. Let's go 5.3. I feel comfortable with a good 5.3.
Okay.
And like I said, shout out to the actors. There's nothing against the actors. This is just the story itself. One of those few films where I have nothing to no issues with the cast, with the story. It's just a story.
Ironically, this movie is full of Oscar nominees and winners. Like,
for sure. It's star-studded.
Yes,
star-studded for sure. That's why it works. That's why it even got nominated, because of all these stars. And like you said, back then, if we can go back in the time capsule, if we did this episode in 2005, we'd be singing his praises.
Oh man, shit be crazy.
But we've done too much living since then. So, amen to that. I will say that. Amen to that. Hopefully, we have a lot more to do. I'm going to speak it into existence. But with that being said, we appreciate y'all. I know I said we thought this might have been the shortest podcast, but I don't even know if we're capable of that anymore. These conversations just flow so naturally.
Yeah.
School, Rachel, I appreciate the both of y'all. Love the both of y'all.
Love y'all.
Thanks for having this space to not only joke around and kid, but also to have some, interesting dialogue and some semi-serious conversation. For all of y'all listening, go ahead.
I was gonna say I appreciate you for getting this shit out the way too. Appreciate you.
Yeah, there are certain movies where I picked them just for the fact of let's talk about the shit and move on.
Yeah.
So no doubt. With that being said, we got y'all every single Tuesday. Winning Time Season 2 streaming on Max. Please check it out. It is an incredible show. There have been people who have, I guess the best compliment you can say is you don't have to like sports to watch that show and enjoy it. It's one of the best shows, if not the best show on television right now. 90%. We give y'all a preview of that next week. So shout out to school. We cannot wait to get that rolling. The Culture Garden per se will be on a break next Thursday, but we will have an episode of 90%, which is still a podcast. We'll be back that next week with a classic. I'm excited to talk about the next film that we're going to do as a trio.
Yes.
That's going to be a very interesting conversation.
But
outside of that, y'all know where to find us. Y'all be cool. Y'all be cool.
Peace.
Bye, guys.